Success is not a matter of luck, nor is it reserved for the chosen few. Success is a law. It follows principles. And just like any law in the universe, if you obey it, it must serve you. If you break it, it turns its back on you. If you desire to attract success, you must become the kind of person who attracts success. That means forming habits that align with the energy, the discipline, and the thinking of those who win. Not once, not sometimes, but over and over again. 1. The habit of definite purpose. The starting point of all achievement is clarity. If you don't know where you're going, you'll be used by those who do. Decide what you want. Decide who you want to become. Burn that image into your mind. Then move. No excuses. No doubts. No days. A person without a definite aim is like a person in a compass drifting with the tide by the wind and never reaching a port. 2. The habit of daily discipline. Winners do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. Discipline isn't about motivation. It's about decision. You wake up early when it's easier to sleep in. You say no to distractions when it's easier to give in. Why? Because you are training the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Self-discipline is self-respect in action. 3. The habit of persistent action. There is no failure unless you quit. Obstacles are not stop signs, they are tests. Will you keep going when it gets hard? Will you stand tall when the world tries to knock you down? Winners persist. When doors close, they find windows. When walls rise, they break through. Success is often hiding just behind the point where most people give up. 4. The habit of positive mental attitude. Your mind is a magnet. It attracts what you dwell on. Dwell on fear, and you attract failure. Dwell on faith, and you pull an opportunity. The most successful individuals guard their minds like warriors. They choose thoughts that build, not break. That lift, not limit. Every morning ask yourself, am I focused on problems or possibilities? That one question can shift your destiny. 5. The habit of mastering emotions. You cannot lead a life of success if you're ruled by every emotion. Winners are not controlled by anger, fear, doubt, or jealousy. They feel it, but they don't feed it. Instead, they master themselves. They remain calm under pressure, focused in chaos, determined in disappointment. Emotional mastery gives you control, and control is power. 6. The habit of surrounding yourself with winners. You become who you associate with. If you walk with the weak, you'll talk like them, think like them, and live like them. But if you walk with the wise, you will rise. Surround yourself with people who challenge your comfort, who push you forward, and who don't let you settle for anything less than greatness. 7. The habit of continuous learning. The day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. Winners read. They study. They ask questions. They seek out mentors. They hunger for wisdom. They understand that one new idea, one new insight, one new strategy can shift the course of their entire life. Success is not a destination. It is a daily pursuit of better. 8. The habit of courageous decision-making. Success is not a reward for chasing blindly. It is a response to who you are becoming. The mistake most people make is thinking they need to run after it, scramble, hustle, beg, or manipulate their way into it. But true success does not respond to desperation. It responds to alignment. To become successful, you must first become a magnet for success. That means working on yourself more than anything else. That means changing your habits, sharpening your mind, mastering your emotions, and showing up in life with intention, integrity, and inner strength. Everything in life is governed by laws. There is a law of gravity, a law of motion, a law of cause and effect. And success is no different. There is a law that says the outer world reflects the inner world. You don't get what you want. You don't even get what you need. You get who you are. You attract what you are in harmony with. And this is the ultimate truth. If you want to change your results, change your vibration. You don't need to chase, because when you are in alignment, the things meant for you will be drawn to you naturally. A successful life begins in the mind. Before it becomes money, position, fame, or recognition, success is a state of thinking and believing. It is the quiet confidence in your own vision. It is the clarity in your goal. It is the decision that no matter how long it takes, no matter how many people say no, and no matter what obstacles show up, you will keep moving. And you will keep becoming. The magnetic pull of success begins when you are so rooted in your mission that distractions cannot disturb you and opinions cannot shake you. People chase success when they don't believe they already have value. They believe success will make them worthy. They think it will validate their existence. That's why they run after it. But true success doesn't come to those who beg, it comes to those who build. And building starts with your identity. You must believe in the deepest part of you that you were born with purpose, that you are not here to merely survive but to fulfill a calling. The strongest magnetic field in the universe is purpose. Once you know why you're here, everything you need to fulfill that purpose will begin to find you. The person who chases success usually ends up chasing approval, validation, and applause. They measure progress by how many people clap or how many zeros are in their bank account. But the one who attracts success doesn't need validation because they are already walking in alignment. They don't need to be noticed, they are too busy doing the work. They don't seek attention, they carry presence. And presence is far more powerful than performance. You can perform and still be empty. But presence, it comes from someone who knows their worth, walks in their truth, and lives with unshakable values. Attraction is rooted in energy. People can feel desperation. They can smell insecurity. They can sense fear. You may dress it up in ambition, but deep down you know whether you're moving from a place of trust or a place of panic. When you are calm, centered, and locked into your mission, you radiate a frequency that makes others stop and notice. You don't need to ask for opportunities, they show up. You don't need to beg for doors to open, they open on their own. Because energy never lies. And when you align your energy with excellence, integrity, and faith, results follow. The key to attracting success is to become the kind of person success wants to be around. Imagine success as a person. Would it be drawn to someone lazy, reactive, bitter, or envious? Or would it be drawn to someone disciplined, sharp, grateful, and focused? Success doesn't respond to noise. It responds to preparation. The reason some people never see their breakthrough is because they are always looking outward. They blame the system. They blame their past. They point fingers, but the rare few. They look inward. They take responsibility. They build character. They strengthen their skills. And slowly but surely, success begins to move toward them like a river flows to the sea. There is something deeply powerful about stillness. In a world where everyone is busy shouting, rushing, and proving themselves, the most magnetic thing you can be is stable, grounded, sure of yourself. Not from arrogance, but from peace. Success is attracted to the person who does not need success to feel whole. Because wholeness is the secret. When you feel complete, you are no longer needy. And when you're no longer needy, you become bold, clear, unshakable. You stop accepting crumbs. You stop chasing people who don't value you. You stop doubting your calling. And that energy, that certainty, that's what draws the right people, the right timing, the right resources into your path. Chasing puts you in a position of weakness. It places the object of your desire on a pedestal, and it puts you below it. But attracting puts you in a position of power, because you understand that you are not less than the opportunity you seek. You are equal to it. You are prepared for it. You are worthy of it. And because of that belief, you no longer move in fear. You don't manipulate. You don't compete. You just be. And that being becomes your greatest form of influence. The world may celebrate the loud, the flashy, the quick wins, but don't be fooled. Those who truly rise, those who leave legacies, those who build empires and change lives, they do not chase. They rise by principles. They rise by consistency. They rise by mastery of self. And those habits compound over time, quietly but powerfully pulling success toward them like gravity. When you become so focused on your mission that you forget to compare, success shows up. When you're so consumed with growth that you don't have time for gossip or drama, success finds you. When you start investing more into your personal development than your public image, everything changes. You stop chasing and start receiving. Not because you're lucky, but because you become aligned. Alignment is not just a concept. It is a state of flow where your thoughts, words, actions, and beliefs are moving in one direction. You are not saying one thing and doing another. You are not doubting yourself while claiming to believe. You are not hoping for success while sabotaging your future. Alignment means integrity on every level. And when you're in integrity, success has no choice, it is drawn to you. That's why the work is never about chasing the goal. It's about becoming the version of yourself who is naturally in tune with that goal. Want more money? Become someone who manages money with wisdom. Want more influence? Become someone who speaks with truth and leads with courage. Want love, respect, opportunities? Then show up with love, respect, and commitment in everything you do. Because life is a mirror. It gives you what you reflect. There is a difference between action and frantic movement. The person who chases is always in a hurry, but rarely at peace. They move fast but make little progress. But the person who attracts is strategic, intentional. They still move, but their steps are guided. Their time is sacred. Their energy is directed. And that level of focus multiplies results. But clarity is only half the equation. Without discipline, clarity is useless. It's like having a map and never walking the road. It's like having a blueprint and never picking up the tools. Discipline is what separates winners from wishers. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, long after the excitement has faded. It is the choice to stick to your routine, to follow through on your word, to hold yourself accountable when no one's watching. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't need motivation. It simply requires a decision to honor your future more than your feelings. The problem is that most people wait until they feel like it. But success doesn't wait. It rewards the committed, not the convenient. The disciplined individual understands this. They show up when it's hard. They stay late when others clock out. They train when it's boring. They study when it's quiet. They sacrifice pleasure for purpose, because they know that discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It's saying, I refuse to live beneath my potential. I refuse to let laziness rob me of my greatness. When you fuse clarity with discipline, you create momentum. You don't just move, you move with force. Each day builds on the next. Progress compounds. Confidence grows. You no longer second-guess yourself because your actions prove your commitment. You don't need to talk about your plans because your results speak louder. The outside world begins to take notice, but by then it's too late to stop you. You become consistent, you become focused, you become powerful. Power doesn't come from noise, it comes from alignment. It comes from doing the hard things consistently. It comes from waking up before the world and working on yourself in silence. It comes from reading the book instead of scrolling the phone. It comes from setting a target and hitting it, day after day, month after month. Power is not a result of talent, it's a result of tenacity. Talent may start the race, but discipline finishes it. Clarity picks the path, but discipline walks it. There are two forces that, when combined, create an unstoppable human being: clarity and discipline. Alone, each one holds weight. Together, they build empires. Clarity gives you the vision, the aim, the direction. Discipline gives you the tools, the habits, and the consistency to reach that vision. One without the other is incomplete. A person with clarity but no discipline becomes a dreamer. A person with discipline but no clarity becomes a workhorse, grinding in circles. But the one who unites both becomes a creator of destiny. Clarity is not a vague idea, it is precision. It is the ability to define exactly what you want, who you want to become, and what legacy you want to leave. Without clarity, life is chaos. You jump from one thing to the next. You become a slave to trends, to noise, to other people's expectations. But the moment you get clear on your path, you stop reacting and start creating. You stop wandering and start walking with purpose. You wake up each day knowing what must be done, because you've already decided where you're going. The truth is, most people do not lack ambition, they lack direction. They have energy, but it's scattered. They're busy, but not productive. They're motivated, but not aligned. Motivation without clarity is dangerous. It makes you chase things that don't belong to you. It makes you run in circles, exhausting yourself in pursuit of goals that were never yours in the first place. But when you get clear, when you make your vision plain and specific, every step begins to matter. Every decision becomes intentional. You no longer waste time. You no longer entertain distractions. You begin to move with precision, and precision is power. Clarity is the birthplace of conviction. When you know what you're after, you don't ask for permission. You don't shrink to make others comfortable. You don't negotiate your value. You move with the quiet confidence of someone who knows where they're going, even if no one else sees it yet. That kind of certainty scares the average mind. It challenges the insecure. It exposes the comfortable. But that's what clarity does, it separates you. It elevates you above the fog of mediocrity, and it calls you to rise. When you look at every high achiever, every world-class performer, every legacy builder, you will see this combination in motion. They are clear about what they want. They don't guess. They don't stumble. They declare it. And then they go to war every day through small, deliberate actions. While others complain, they execute. While others wait for the perfect time, They make the time perfect through their effort. While others start and stop, they keep showing up. That's discipline. And when it's driven by clarity, it becomes unstoppable. There's no room for excuses in this equation. Excuses are the language of the unclear and the undisciplined. They justify failure before it happens. But when you're clear, you no longer entertain excuses. And when you're disciplined, you don't need them. Your results speak for themselves. Every excuse you could make is overshadowed by the power of your consistency. You don't need to explain yourself. Your actions become your message. People will wonder how you did it, how you stayed the course, how you kept moving when life got hard, how you built something from nothing. And your answer won't be magic. It won't be luck. It will be clarity and discipline. You saw it, you believed it, you worked for it. You refused to quit. You became the type of person success is drawn to: focused, unwavering, grounded. While others searched for shortcuts, you built a foundation. While they waited for a handout, you developed your skill set. While they chased comfort, you chased growth. And that's what created the shift. When you're clear on your mission, it becomes easier to say no to things that don't align. You don't waste time on gossip, drama, or low-value activities. You don't need to be everywhere or impress everyone. You become intentional. You protect your energy. You choose your battles, because everything that doesn't serve your goal becomes a distraction. And the disciplined mind eliminates distractions without guilt. It understands that every no to nonsense is a yes to greatness. This is the formula: decide what you want, commit to it fully, and show up every single day regardless of how you feel. That's clarity plus discipline. That's where power is born. Power is not given. It is earned through sacrifice, through effort, through ruthless focus. It's forged in the fire of repetition. It's built when you're tired, when you're doubting, when you're lonely, but you still keep going. Because deep down, you know who you are. You know where you're going. And nothing can break a person who's clear and disciplined. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more followers. You don't need more applause. What you need is a clear mission and a disciplined lifestyle. That is how you become dangerous. That is how you rise above mediocrity. That is how you take control of your life and bend reality to your will. Not through chasing hype, but through becoming someone who moves with purpose and performs with consistency. Success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the clear. It belongs to the disciplined. It belongs to those who have trained their minds, sharpened their focus, and hardened their habits. These are the people who win not because the world handed them an advantage, but because they took control of what they could, their vision and their behavior. You have the power to change your life at any moment, but you must be willing to get honest about what you truly want. You must be willing to strip away everything that doesn't align with that vision. And you must be willing to show up again and again, especially when it's inconvenient. That's the price, and it's a price few are willing to pay. But those who do, they create lives that most can only imagine. Look around you. The people you spend time with are a mirror. They reflect back who you are, what you tolerate, and ultimately what you will become. Your environment is not just the backdrop of your life, it's the architect of your future. Your circle is either sharpening you or softening you. It is either pulling you forward or holding you back. And if you don't intentionally choose your circle will choose your future for you. No one climbs without support. No one grows without challenge. No one becomes excellent while surrounded by mediocrity. You may have the talent, you may have the vision, you may even have the drive. But if you're surrounded by people who don't speak life into you, who don't challenge your thinking, who don't live with discipline, who don't believe in building something greater, then eventually your fire will die out. Not because you didn't have it in you, but because your circle didn't feed it. Your destiny is shaped by decisions, and one of the most powerful decisions you'll ever make is who you allow into your life. Every conversation is planting a seed. Every friendship is shaping your standard. Every relationship is influencing your mindset. The people you allow around you are not neutral. They are either assets or liabilities. They either strengthen your vision or blur it. They either push you to rise or let you fall comfortably. Study the habits, language, and mindset of your inner circle. Are these people disciplined? Are they hungry? Do they talk about growth, responsibility, leadership, and impact? Or do they talk about complaints, gossip, envy, and blame? Because whatever they practice, you will eventually adopt. You can't spend time with lazy people and expect to stay ambitious. You can't surround yourself with complainers and expect to remain grateful. You can't walk with quitters and expect to stay committed. Energy is contagious. Mindsets are transferable. And the standard of your circle becomes the ceiling of your potential. Some people are loyal to history, not destiny. They hold on to friendships, relationships, and environments out of comfort, fear, or guilt. But growth requires separation. Evolution demands elevation. And elevation requires isolation from anything that keeps you small. You cannot build a future if you're chained to the past. You cannot become who you're meant to be while staying where you've always been. Letting go isn't betrayal, it's alignment. It's choosing your calling over your comfort. It's choosing purpose over popularity. If your circle doesn't challenge your thoughts, sharpen your skills, and call you out when you're slacking, then you're not in a circle, you're in a cage. Real friends don't let you settle. Real mentors don't let you slack. Real teammates don't let you drift. They remind you of your standard. They remind you of your potential. They call out the best in you, even when it hurts. Because growth isn't always comfortable, but it is always worth it. Be honest. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? What do they talk about? What do they read? How do they manage their time? What kind of energy do they carry? Because those 5 people are shaping your thinking. They're influencing your habits. They're determining what feels normal to you. And that normal becomes your standard. If excellence isn't normal in your circle, you will never rise to it. If accountability isn't normal, you'll slip into excuses. If vision isn't normal, you'll become short-sighted. If growth isn't normal, you'll settle for stagnation. Winners think differently. They speak differently. They act differently. And they associate differently. They don't spend time in places that kill their spirit. They don't entertain conversations that poison their mindset. They don't stay loyal to relationships that no longer align with their future. Because they understand that success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you're becoming. And who you're becoming is always influenced by who you're around. You must protect your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Dreams die in the wrong environment. Confidence shrinks in the wrong environment. Discipline weakens in the wrong environment. But in the right circle, in the right room, everything shifts. You feel stronger. You think clearer. You act bolder. Why? Because greatness is contagious. Being around people who are chasing their goals with relentless energy forces you to level up. It doesn't allow you to stay average. It exposes your excuses. It raises your temperature. It creates pressure, and pressure produces diamonds. There is no success without sacrifice. And one of the first sacrifices you'll have to make is comfort. You will have to walk away from circles that feel safe but keep you small. You'll have to leave behind the people who don't grow just because you've known them for years. Time is not the measure of a healthy relationship. Alignment is. Are you aligned in values, in direction, in hunger and growth? If not, it's time to step out. Not with anger, not with arrogance, but with clarity. Because you cannot afford to compromise your destiny to maintain comfort zones. If you want to change your life, don't just change your habits, change your circle. Don't just read better books, build better relationships. Surround yourself with people who don't just tolerate your vision, but celebrate it. People who don't just listen to your goals, but push you to reach them. People who don't make you feel guilty for growing, but challenge you to grow more. You need iron in your life. People who sharpen you, refine you, strengthen you. Not yes men, not comfort givers, not excuse enablers, but truth tellers, standard raisers, fire starters. This is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about creating a space around you that reflects the life you want to live. Your circle should make you better. It should push you, test you, elevate you. If it doesn't, you're wasting time. Because every moment spent in the wrong room is a moment stolen from your potential. You don't need to be the smartest in the room, you need to be the most hungry. You need to be the most disciplined. And if you're always the smartest, strongest, or most driven person in your circle, then it's time to find a new circle. You rise to the level of the conversations you entertain. If the people around you are talking about dreams, discipline, faith, impact, and strategy, you will rise. If they're talking about fear, doubt, gossip, and comfort, you will fall. Because words create worlds, and the worlds you live in are built by the people you listen to. You were not made for mediocrity. You were made for impact, for purpose, for power. But you can't step into that power if you're surrounded by people who keep you doubting, playing small, and hiding your light. Sometimes the only thing standing between you and your destiny is the company you keep. Cut the cord. Shift the room. Find the tribe that speaks your language, the language of faith, of discipline, of progress, of greatness. This is your life. This is your mission. And you cannot afford to spend one more year explaining your calling to people who don't understand it. You cannot keep asking permission from people who've never walked the road you're trying to walk. And you cannot stay small to make others comfortable. Your circle shapes your standard. Your standard shapes your behavior. And your behavior shapes your future. So guard your circle with everything you have. The world will try to pull you in every direction. People will project their fears onto you. They'll try to dim your light so theirs feels brighter. But your responsibility is not to please them. Your responsibility is to fulfill your purpose. And that means surrounding yourself with people who fan your flames, not those who fear your fire. It means finding those who see the greatness in you, even when you forget. Those who speak life into your vision. Those who call out your excuses. Those who demand excellence. You want to transform your future? Start with your circle. Stop waiting for support and start building it. Seek mentors who have walked the path. Build friendships rooted in values, not convenience. Create a network of warriors, not warriors. Surround yourself with people who would rather build empires than tear each other down. People who'd rather lead with vision than be led by fear. People who show up with purpose, with hunger, with fire. You don't need a crowd, you need a core. A solid few who walk with you in truth. Who hold you to a standard higher than comfort. Who see your blind spots and speak truth to them. Who won't let you forget who you are, even when life gets heavy. Because your environment will either feed your excuses or fuel your execution. And that choice, who you allow into your circle, is one of the most powerful choices you'll ever make.